Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Boston and beautiful Fenway Park. It's the first of a wraparound 4-game series here against the Boston Red Sox. Boston won the series at Toronto 2-1. Blue Jays anxious to get outdoors. A lot of the Blue Jay players walked on the grass and said, man, this feels good to be outside. First time they've played outdoors all season long. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar, Josh Donaldson, and Jose Bautista, and he loves this ballpark. Over his last 32 games, Bautista pounded out 13 home runs, and he has driven in a run a game here against Boston. And right behind him in the cleanup spot, Edwin Encarnación against the Red Sox starter Rick Porcello. He's 10 for 29 with 5 extra base hits and 6 RBIs. Blue Jays love coming here to Fenway Park. I don't care who's pitching.
Yeah, it doesn't matter with that short porch in left field. Rick Porcello, one start this season, faces the Jays for the second time in less than a week. He had trouble with Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista. He gave up 4 hits and 4 runs scored, but he handled everybody else, pitching 6 innings against the Jays, striking out 7 batters. He said the key was holding down the rest of that lineup. Now, he's made 13 career appearances versus the Blue Jays, including 12 starts, and he hasn't had a lot of success. His ERA is over 5 against the Blue Jays.
He is 5-7 with a .535 earned run average, and he misses with the first pitch to Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar had 26 hits against the Red Sox last year, and he loves hitting in this ballpark.
He loves coming out here, doesn't he, around the batting cage and being around the team and hitting in this ballpark. It's a great hitter's park for right-handers once you learn how to use that wall to your advantage.
Ground ball, 2 hops to third. Travis Shaw has it. 1 up, 1 down. Boston defense has been much improved this year. Travis Shaw at third base has had something to do with that. He is a sure-handed third baseman. In the outfield, Brock Holt, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. They've got a lot of range. Travis Shaw's at third, as we mentioned. Bogarts and Pedroia up the middle. Henry Ramirez, so far so good over at first base. And Christian Vazquez, back from AAA, coming back from Tommy John surgery, his first game of the season.
Their best catching prospect, just 25 years old, missed all of last season. And in 2014, he caught 51.7% of the base stealers trying to catch against him. The best single-season rookie catcher caught stealing in Red Sox history. He is a good one, and they really missed him.
Quickly 0-2 to Josh Donaldson. We showed you that massive home run he hit last night against Nathan Eovaldi. He's off to a great start. 5 home runs so far for Donaldson. Donaldson hit 5 home runs all in the month of April last year. He's off to a better start this season.
Can you explain that? I mean, he had 6 home runs in spring training last year and had 5 in April. Didn't hit 1 in spring training. He has 5 already through the first 10 games. Just a great player.
Well, he's got such a good eye, and he really forces the pitcher to throw it over the plate. Rarely does he chase.
He's got great numbers with 2 strikes, especially last season, because he thinks right along with that pitcher.
Another thing he talks about with 2 strikes, he said, I'm not afraid of striking out. And I don't know that there's much Josh Donaldson is afraid of.
He's had his share of strikeouts already this year. He's up there amongst the leaders in strikeouts, but if you're afraid to make contact, you know, you got to tip your hat sometimes against that pitcher. He's made good pitches, but Josh has had some good approaches with 2 strikes this year.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Bogarts at short. Jose Bautista will come to the plate with 2 outs, and he had a big day last Saturday against Porcello.
He made a couple of mistakes, Porcello, with his slider. He wanted those balls down and away to Jose, and they rippled right across the middle of the plate. And he said, the next time I face Bautista, I'm just going to go ahead and walk him. I'm not even going to throw him a slider. I'm not even going to come close to throwing the ball over the middle of the plate. Jose's got that ability to recognize pitches, and when you hang them, he can hit them a long way. And he loves hitting in this ballpark.
Well, Porcello may be sending a little message. You're a little bit too comfortable against me, Mr. Bautista. Jose, 300 for the season. He's 9 for 30. He's got 5 extra base hits. One of the great head-to-head matchups in all of sports. The chess game between the pitcher and the hitter. Top of the zone. Porcello got in trouble last year because he was trying to throw too many four-seam fastballs upstairs.
And in this ballpark, you're just asking for trouble, especially against right-handed batters like Bautista. John Farrell says keep the ball away from him. Talked about when Pilar was hitting about learning to hit in this ballpark, and one of the things that the Red Sox will always do to righties will keep the ball away from them. They will force you to try and pull that ball if you want to get a home run. Go out there and get it. It's so intimidating standing in that batter's box, and it looks so inviting to get the ball up in the air and get a cheap home run. But pitchers know that. They're going to try and keep the ball away from you.
Yeah, you get into the mindset of trying to pull the ball and they'll wear you out, pitch you away. Full count to Bautista. Encarnación will be next if he reaches, and Jose asks for time.
Tell you, Jose right on top of that plate too, almost daring Porcello to come inside.
Check swing tapper toward Pedroia. 3 up, 3 down for Porcello. 3 ground ball outs. Blue Jays go quietly in the top half of the first. Lead things off. He was cold when the Blue Jays faced him the last time they saw him, and he has heated up since. Against the Orioles, he went 7 for 14 with 3 extra base hits, and he drove home 4. And then in that third spot, Xander Bogaerts has hit well against R.A. Dicky, 11 for 30, and he has done a terrific job. Young number 3 hitter. He's 23 years old, batting third in this Red Sox
good
lineup.
hitter, and the top 3, you got to really bear down on him, and that's what R.A. is going to do. This is how unpredictable his best pitch is. Might have had his best knuckleball in his last start. Still charged with 7 runs over 5 innings, but his ball was really dancing all over the strike zone. He is 2-2 in his career in this ballpark. Very respectable ERA under 4 here at Fenway Park. Fly ball type of pitcher in a very small bandbox.
Here is Mookie Betts. Takes a strike from Dicky. 270 overall for the season after that hot series against the Orioles. Cut on and missed. One thing Dicky has done in this ballpark is he has not walked many. He's only walked 4 in his 6 career starts here at Fenway.
It's hard to believe, isn't it, with this very patient team that the Boston Red Sox throw out there.
Fly ball to right. Bautista got a good break on contact and runs it down. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense behind R.A. Dicky here tonight in Fenway. Michael Sanders, Kevin Pillar, and Jose Bautista in the outfield. On the infield, Donaldson back at third base. Tulowitzki and Goins up the middle. Justin Smoke gets to start at first because of his gaudy numbers against Boston and Porcello. R.A. Dicky and Josh Tolley hook up as they have so often in their careers.
And what a pleasure it is to watch this guy go out at shortstop every single day. This is career game number 1,100 for Troy Tulowitzki. And it seems like he hasn't made an error in all of that time, but he still hasn't made one as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Since he came into the big leagues in 2006, he's committed the fewest errors among major league shortstops. Dustin Pedroia takes one down and in against Dicky. Pedroia has a home run against R.A., a .261 average for the second baseman against the knuckleballer. What should we expect in the Red Sox approach against Dicky tonight?
You know, we saw him back at Rogers Center pitch against the Boston Red Sox, and they made great adjustments by trying to go the other way. But they want to make sure that R.A. gets that ball up. When the knuckleball is low, it's usually going to dance out of the strike zone for a ball. Their hitters are going to try and gauge that ball up high as much as possible, and then they will go ahead and attack. Why it's so difficult to pitch with that knuckleball against the Boston Red Sox, they don't have a lot of wild swingers. That's where you get a lot of success. Wild, long swings where you can get strikeouts and miss hits. But Chili Davis's team is very under control with their swing, and their approach last game was outstanding, trying to go the other way.
2-2 to Pedroia. Hit on the ground. Goins at second. 2 up, 2 down for Dicky. Now, Tim Wakefield, one of the mentors that Dicky has leaned on in his development of the knuckleball, is here tonight for Boston. He's working the game on television. And I asked Wakefield about pitching in the month of April. And Wakefield said, I had the same problems that R.A. Dickey's had over his career, just because it's cool, it's cold, the knuckleball's a finesse pitch, and you just don't have a great feel early in the season.
The ball can get very slippery, I think, in the cold weather when you're pitching outside, and you just don't have a feel for it. That's why it can be so unpredictable.
It says Bogarts. He falls behind after getting the fastball. He gets a heck of a knuckleball, and Dickey's ahead 0-2. Going back to 2012, R.A. Dicky is 8-11 in the month of April, with his highest ERA at .484. Fastball shot in to right. 2-out base hit.
The designated hitter, number 42, David Ortiz.
David Ortiz did not play last Saturday against Dicky at Rogers Center. Set out that ball game. He has 3 career home runs against Dicky. He also has 3 home runs to start the season. Ortiz with a big season a year ago hit 37 home runs. Pops this one up, and that's going to reach the seats out of play.
Probably the only home run threat, if you will, in their lineup. Might throw Hamlet Ramirez in there, but David Ortiz is built a lot like the Blue Jay sluggers, that they put up big numbers with the home runs and the RBIs, but he's under control. Doesn't strike out too terribly much, but he's got a plan when he is in there. Going to have to make a pitch to get him out.
Told he might have got hit by the follow through of Ortiz as that ball was down and away, and looked like that bat may have clipped the catcher. 1-2, Dicky ahead now with 2 outs. upstairs. Full count, 2 outs. Bogarts at first will be off on the pitch. Hanley Ramirez, the first baseman, is on deck. Everybody wearing 42, honoring the memory of the great Jackie Robinson, who made his major league debut on April 15, 1947. Popped up, back over our head.
I think this is awesome what baseball has done, and now everybody is getting into the act. Players, coaches, managers. I think even the umpires are getting into it, wearing the great number 42. Finally retired all around baseball.
Deep drive to center. Pilar is back, looking up. This ball is off the wall. Bogarts is around third. He's going to score. Ortiz drives home the first run of the ball game with a deep drive off the wall in center.
Boston Red Sox, 31 extra base hits this year. They are 8th in Major League Baseball coming into this game. Here's their 32nd, deep to center field. Ortiz thinks it's gone, but I think the cold wind and the air is going to keep this ball in the ballpark. Pilar gets a little bit too close to that wall, and it bounces over his head. I still don't think he was going to get Bogarts at the plate, but that's what I mean about Ortiz. He's got the big power swing, but he's a good hitter.
That's the first run the Blue Jays pitchers have given up in the first inning all season long. Now there are only 2 teams in baseball that have not allowed a first inning run: Oakland and Cleveland.
Amazing. We were talking about that in the opening, that the starting pitching has been so good for the Blue Jays. The inning started very weakly for Boston.
Hanley Ramirez fouls one off his foot, and that's not going to feel very good. First of all, it's cold to begin with, and then you hit one right off the top of your foot.
Let's see where he got hit. Yeah. That'll send some shivers down your leg, won't it?
Looked like it got him right on the instep with that left foot. And he's going to try to walk it off a bit. Ramirez off to a good start, 11 for 33. He's got a home run and 5 RBIs for the season. David Ortiz with a 2-out double to center has given Boston a 1-0 lead. Down and away. Very difficult for Dicky and Tolley. You just don't know from one game to the next what kind of knuckleball you're going to have. Last time out, Josh Tolley said it was the best knuckleball he had ever seen Dicky throw.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one talking about that. John Gibbons was talking about that before today's ball game.
That ball gets away from Tolley. Ortiz is headed for third to throw to first. Not in time. Somebody's got to cover home. Hanley Ramirez still feeling the effects of fouling that ball off his foot, and now John Farrell's going to go out and check with Ramirez to make sure he's okay. But a swing and a miss. The ball got away from Tolley, and Hanley Ramirez reaches first.
There's a prime example of a good knuckleball right there, and how unpredictable and how tough it can be. Strike 3. Ramirez not real sure, first of all, where the bat goes and then where the ball is, and then realizes that the ball got away from Josh Tolley, and he hustles down to first base to keep the inning alive. But that good knuckleball, just like that, it's a good thing that it's a good knuckleball, but it's a bad thing when you can't control it and it keeps the inning alive.
It's a pass ball charge to Tolley. He had 2 pass balls in that start last Saturday with Dicky. There's a deep drive to center. Pilar is back, looking up. This ball is off the wall. Ortiz is in to score. Ramirez is being waved home. Here's the throw from Goins. They're going to cut it off. And now they've got Shaw hung up between second and third. Tulowitzki is going to run him back to the catcher as Tolley is there for the final out of the inning. But Travis Shaw jumped on the first pitch and drives home 2. A 3-run bottom of the first for Boston. And he's making the most of it, and he jumped all over that first pitch from Dicky.
Well, he can hit. First of all, he's got a nice solid base and a solid swing. He sends this one off the wall in center field. Now the Blue Jays are going to use the cutoff to perfect example. That goes 8-4 to 3 to 5 to 6 to 2 to finally finish it off. You might be saying, well, why is that runner trying to do that? Why is he trying to go to third? He was forcing the Blue Jays to cut that ball off so that run guarantees the score. You're going to trade an out for a run, and worked out perfectly for the Red Sox.
Well, that pass ball on the strike to Hanley Ramirez, strike 3, allowed Ramirez to reach, and the inning continued. So Boston has a 3-0 lead. It'll be Encarnación, Tulowitzki, and Justin Smoke for the Blue Jays. Pulled just wide of third.
Edwin is searching right now to try and find something comfortable with his stance. Talking to Brooke Jacoby today before the game, he said he's taken a lot of swings after batting practice, going down into that cage, trying to find something comfortable. He's back to putting his hands right above his belt buckle. We saw him against that in that series against the New York Yankees raise his hands just a little bit, just trying to search and find something that feels comfortable.
Boy, that scattered them in the Blue Jays dugout. They were ducking from that hot shot off that screen. Very, very small dugouts here at Fenway Park, and it's a real crowded situation. Looks like Stroman was sitting on that bucket. And when that ball hit that screen, he bailed out and landed on the floor.
Well, let's show you one more time. The ball lined into the Blue Jays dugout, and they got the seats right up there in the front row. But if you're not paying attention, you can get hit.
Edwin Encarnación deep to left into the Fenway seats, the Green Monster seats, and the Blue Jays get one back. First of the year for Edwin.
Well, he's searching, and I think he found something. All those swings that he will take down in that cage, try to find that good release point and the separation with his hands on his swing. All it takes was Fenway Park right here. He has had some big numbers here in Boston.
For Encarnación, that's his 20th career home run against the Red Sox and his 11th here at Fenway Park. That'll bring a smile to that face as he's starting to heat up. This is a good swing. Fastball upstairs.
Just get the ball in the air. He was able to pull an outside pitch from Porcello that was elevated. Got his hands in the more familiar right above his belt buckle, and you can see when he's ready to swing, he raises them into the hitting zone, and that was classic.
Well, you have to remember, Edwin didn't have an at-bat in spring training. He hit in the minor leagues right toward the end of spring training, but because of that oblique injury, he had an abscess tooth extracted early in the spring.
That's what Jacoby was saying. He's saying he's setting up that pitching machine that throws all sliders to help him to track it, and he's hitting day after day after day to get that timing down because he missed spring training.
Troy Tulowitzki hit his second home run of the season in last night's game, and here he gets hit by a pitch right on his right hand. That ball ran up and in on Tulowitzki. Porcello pushed Bautista back in Jose's first at bat. Now he runs one inside to Tulowitzki. Looked like caught him on the forearm of that right hand.
Trying to pull those hands in. Hitters, again, in this ballpark, will try to protect the outside part of the plate, and you have to pitch inside. You have to, in this ballpark, in this division, against these types of lineups, you have to pitch inside. That time he got caught.
Justin Smoke gets the call tonight to start at first base for a couple of reasons. He hit great against Boston last year, and he has hit very well against Rick Porcello. Bounce blocked by Vazquez. Both of these ball clubs can slug it. Ortiz had a double and Travis Shaw 2-run double, and then Encarnación hits a home run, but that's not unusual when these two teams meet here at Fenway Park.
Look at some of these numbers over the last couple of seasons. Blue Jays have won 12 of the 18 games here, but there's always a lot of runs scored. They're long games, so settle in, sit back, enjoy this. This should be a lot of fun if you're in favor of offensive baseball.
Well, and two, if you're a starting pitcher, don't get worried about early runs. They're going to go back and forth, and oftentimes games will be decided very late. Strike three call upstairs. First strikeout of the night for Rick Porcello. But Rick Porcello has given up a home run to Edwin Encarnación here at Fenway, and that's not unusual. Look at the home run hitters here in this ballpark since 2010. A couple of Blue Jays lead the pack.
Jose Bautista's hit 17, the most by a visitor since 2010. Edwin right behind him. And then, of course, Longoria and Teixeira, other power hitters within the American League East. But those two guys in this ballpark, they're built for this ballpark. Power hitters who can lift the ball and get it up in the air.
Michael Saunders. Saunders has gone 0 for 8 against Rick Porcello. He's swinging the bat well right now. Off to a good start.
I'll tell you, if he wants to put a bunt down to the left side of the infield, he could walk to first base.
There it is. Good call, Tabby. Blue Jays have been encouraging Michael Saunders to keep the defense honest.
And what that will do will keep them honest. They'll get out of this type of shift that we see that the Boston Red Sox are in. Just give me one here or two there. Just two every 14 games, if you will. And that will spread around the league very quickly. That Saunders is going to think about trying to put a bunt down.
The problem you have is it's so foreign to hitters. But if you would practice it on a regular basis, and I don't mean just slap at those first two pitches during BP. I mean, put an effort into it and do it on a daily basis, then it becomes a weapon.
And he's got the perfect guy, I think, tonight, if you're Michael Saunders, in doing that in Rick Porcello.
Snap, throw, and that's it. He got him. Tulowitzki drift too far. Christian Vazquez is back, and he can throw. Edwin Encarnación cuts into that Red Sox lane with one swing of the bat, his first of the season. 3-1 Boston. Has traditionally had problems getting going in a season. When you look back at what he has done in April and May last season, he had an ERA closing in on 6. But Pat, once it gets past May, everything seems to sort itself out.
Well, you know he's going to be working on it. If he doesn't feel right, he's going to go out there and he's going to find that release point or find whatever it is. He's always talking about, you know, it's a pitch in progress, and I'm working on in between starts trying to find something. Maybe I'm striding too long sometimes. Maybe my hand's not getting up and through the ball enough. One thing I know he had last year that came out, that he had a knee problem last year, early last season, and pitched through a lot of pain. Doesn't look to be the problem this year. He looks like he's in great shape.
Yeah, he came into camp in real good shape, and I think that helps him get prepared for the season. The matter is Brock Holt, super utility man who's playing in left field and figures to be out in left field quite a bit more this season, especially now that Rusney Castillo has been demoted to AAA. Chris Young and Brock Holt will more than likely platoon in left field.
You know, I think what they have to do is they have to watch his innings and starts. He's not a real big guy, and to play every day, it can wear you down. And I think that's what they have to guard against with Brock Holt. He's an outstanding baseball player, and they can use him anywhere, I think, on the diamond if they need to. Just don't want to wear him down.
Fly ball. Pilar calls for it. The wind's pushing it back toward the infield. He stays with it to make the catch, one out. So Christian Vazquez, boy, the Red Sox are happy to have him back, and he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. And evidenced by that snap throw to first, his elbow appears to be fine.
His manager at AAA, where he spent the first, 10 days or so of the season, says the arm strength is getting there. He's getting the carry back into his throws around the bases. That's what they were missing through the first 10 games of this season or so.
Well, I think it really had an impact on the pitching staff overall, just not having his presence behind the plate. He's got an interesting knack for a young catcher of really getting the best out of his pitchers. You mentioned the great success he had throwing out base runners. He caught over 51% of the base stealers 2 years ago when he was playing. Last year, of course, missed the whole season. But you never know how a catcher's going to come back from Tommy John.
Right.
The most recent example of Matt Wieters in Baltimore And it's taken him a while to regain his arm strength.
Well, you look at quickness, you look at carry on the ball, how fast it gets around the bases, and they say that he's not there yet physically, not where he was a couple of years ago, but it's real close. You know what's improved right now is his hitting. They'll take anything from Christian Vazquez offensively, the way he can catch and throw. And right now he's raking.
Got up to a good start in AAA at Pawtucket. Drill to the left field. This ball is up and off the green monster. Saunders plays it on a hop, makes a good throw. Tag is not in time. Saunders played that about as well as you can. He had a shot at Christian Vazquez, but the throw was a little bit late.
If you play left field here, as soon as that ball goes off the bat, you have to judge if you have a chance of catching it or positioning yourself to get the rebound. And Michael Saunders gets far enough away where he can catch this ball quickly and make a good throw. It's a little bit off target to get that runner at second base, but he positions himself perfectly, catches it on one hop, bare hands it. And you can tell on that replay, looked like he might have missed him. They're going to take a look at it though. It looked like the tag from Goins got on top of the leg as Vazquez slid into second base. But Michael Saunders played that perfectly.
When they're going to have a look at it, the play is under review. Saunders' throw just tailed a bit away from the bag at second. That took Goins away from it. This replay review is powered by Samsung. So the Blue Jays have asked the umpires to review the tag play at second. Christian Vazquez is offering his opinion.
Please be a double. and it looks like, Buck, that he got into the bag, that the tag was just a little bit late. The foot gets in when Ryan gets onto his calf right there, and his foot's already on the bag.
Very difficult. You know where that base is, but you can see Goins is trying to tag the runner. And had he gone right to the base, maybe Vazquez slides right into it.
You know, maybe they're going to see if he came off the bag. Goins keeps the tag right there. Watch. Does he stay on the bag? On that replay, it looked like he did. Any more infielders, when you're tagging a sliding runner, you got to hold that tag, don't you?
Yeah, they stay on the runner. The momentum might carry him off the bag, but it looked that time like Vazquez maintained contact with the bag. One more look at it. Watch the glove. Vazquez pops up and Goins tries to stay with him. But I think he lost contact if indeed Vazquez did come off the bag. Taking him a long time to review this one.
Well, there's no question that he slid in and got ahead of the tag. I think what they're looking at is, did he become disengaged with the bag? Ryan did the right thing, holding the glove on the runner.
Boy, right there he came off it a little bit, and the question is, does he still have contact? The umpires have their decision, and they waive the play safe. Ruling on the field will stand. So it's a one-out double for Vazquez. So now the number 9 hitter, Jackie Bradley Jr. He's just 2 for 21 against Dicky. He's had his problems with that knuckleball. That squirts out of the glove, but not far enough for an advance.
He's had some trouble with him because his swing can get a little bit long. Remember the series he had here last year against the Blue Jays? He just ripped them apart. Stayed on everything and let the ball come to him. gets into trouble when he gets a little bit too long with his swing.
This ball is hit to second. Goins has it. Vazquez moves to third base on the ground out. Now there are 2 outs. Well, obviously, with the knuckleball, you got to move up every chance you get. And now he's at third with 2 outs, and the lineup will turn over to Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts hit a soft liner to right his first time up, flied out to Bautista. 3-1 ball game.
This is having a guy in that #1 spot so dangerous because it comes up with runners on base a lot more than you think. He drove in the most runs last year as a leadoff hitter in the American League. And here's a chance for him right now to drive in a run.
Had a good series against the Orioles. We mentioned he went 7 for 14 against Baltimore. He scored 4 runs, drove in 4 runs, and had 3 extra base hits. One thing about Betts, and there's very few prototypical leadoff hitters in baseball, but I like him in the leadoff spot, but he does strike out a bit.
We can say that about a bunch of players, can't we, anymore? There's a lot of strikeouts around baseball.
Seems like it's going up every year, and this year is no different. We talked to John Farrell about that, the manager of the Red Sox. His opinion was players are getting paid by knocking the ball out of the ballpark, and nobody wants to shorten up and put the ball in play. Everybody is just swinging for the fences whenever they have a chance.
1 strike, 2 strikes, it doesn't matter. They're letting it go.
Ground ball, that's wide about Donaldson into left. It bounces past Tulowitzki, and Betts has an RBI single with 2 outs.
There you go. Drives in a lot of runs for this team. He had the most as a leadoff hitter last year, coming up with those types of 2-out base hits. That ground ball by Jackie Braley moving Vazquez over to third base allows him to trot home with a add-on run, but Mookie Betts is now a threat to steal.
All right, very quick to first base. Betts is 2 for 2 early on. He had 21 steals a year ago. Dustin Pedroia is the batter. Pulled outside of third base. Red Sox with 3 doubles already against R.A. Dicky. And Pat, you talked about it. This is not a real home run hitting ball club, but those doubles will wear you out.
I think they're fit perfectly in this ballpark. They can hit the ball all over the place. And Red Sox teams have always had guys that hit a lot of doubles. They take advantage of that wall in left field.
Yeah, they're probably a product of this ballpark more than anything. That green monster, 37 feet high in left field, takes away a lot of home runs, but it gives you a ton of doubles. Two and one now to Pedroia.
Yeah, it's not just left field here, too. Right field, there's a lot of room in right field and right center field. You hit a ball down the right field line, that's extra bases. That is a tough part of the field to guard against right there. You have to have a good athlete in right field.
They have moved Mookie Betts to right field defensively this season, as he's a former center fielder. Jackie Bradley, a terrific center fielder himself. 2-1 to Pedroia. Now it's 3-1. Patience. You have to have patience when Dicky starts. You don't know when he's going to zero in that knuckleball. Pulled foul.
Well, the whole key at bat in that first inning was the 2-strike hit by Bogaerts. Looked like he was cruising. You got Betts, you got Pedroia very quickly, got 2 strikes on Bogarts. Looked like he was going to have a 1-2-3 inning and ended up giving up 3 runs.
It looked like a fastball. Looked like he tried to sneak a fastball by him away, and Bogarts just slapped it to right. Bogarts, that's his 12th hit against R.A. Dicky. Full count, 2 outs. There goes Betts, ball 4. Dicky wanted it. He was headed toward the dugout, but it's called high.
Save during the homeowner sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Well, the Boston Red Sox threatening with 2 outs, first and second for Xander Bogaerts, who had that 2-out single in the first. Bogaerts scored the first Red Sox run of the game. Great season a year ago. Bogaerts had 196 hits. Knuckler on the inside corner.
Those 196 hits won him his Silver Slugger Award. First one.
One count to the shortstop. Bogaerts finished in the top 5 in batting average in the American League. And it was the first time the Red Sox have had a top 5 hitter since Dustin Pedroia in 2008. Well, he's got a good swing, doesn't he? Stayed on that pitch. He was off the plate outside. He's checking with the umpire to see whether or not it was a strike. He's 23 years old.
And I think he's just scratching the surface. He's only going to get better. Power might be the next thing that he adds to his game, but he can hit the ball to right field as well as left field. Tough to pitch this guy.
This time Dicky strikes him out, but the Red Sox get a second run in the inning. They now have a 4-1 lead over the Blue Jays.
To do on offense, and earlier today I caught up with hitting coach Brooke Jacoby and asked him about the Jays offense over the last couple of games. He told me that he's noticed that the guys are relaxing a little bit more and not pressing at the plate, and one of the more accepted indicators that an offense is starting to click is the number of doubles that they're hitting. In the first 8 games of the season, the Jays had 5 doubles. Over the last 2 games, 10. And Jacoby says he's pleased with that because he likes the guys using the entire field, hitting gap to gap. They're driving the ball more, Buck, and they're seeing the ball much better as opposed to early on in this season.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And that doubles number is a very important one, Pat. I think doubles are kind of a better hit than even home runs because you keep the pitcher in a jam. He continues to work out of the stretch with the runner in scoring position.
That's it. He's out of the stretch. He's always turning around and he's seeing a guy in scoring position. It also means that you're driving the ball, and it also means that you're using the whole field. Very rarely you see doubles going in the same places. They can go down the left field line, right field line, into the gaps over the heads of the outfielders. It just means you're staying on the ball and getting through it. Blue Jays led the American League in doubles last year.
Ryan Goins takes the first pitch strike to start the third. Goins hit .218 against the Red Sox last season, but he drove in 11 runs. He got some big hits against Boston.
You know, it started right around August last year for Ryan Goins. He just seemed to start to come into his own offensively, getting on base, having good at bats.
What else happened around August 1st?
Wasn't there a guy who got traded over here that he started playing next to in the middle of the diamond?
Troy Tulowitzki, of course, played his first game on July 29th for the Blue Jays. Goins seemed to gain a lot of confidence. First of all, he knew he was going to play every day. Secondly, he's teamed up with one of the best in the business. But since the 1st of August last year, Ryan has a .367 on base percentage.
That's the third best among second basemen in all of baseball. And his at-bats have been better. He's been using the whole field, and his two-strike approach has been a lot better too. Not panicking at all when he gets to 2 strikes.
Number 9 hitter Josh Thole is on deck. Full count to Goins. Called strike 3. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Thank you very much, Jamie. The Yankees have Luis Severino pitching there against Seattle tonight. Josh Thole. Where the strikeouts continue to mount for the Blue Jays. That's 3 straight strikeouts for Porcello now.
All taking, all by lefties, and all with the fastball.
This ball is blowing toward the seats, and it'll be into the seats, out of play.
It looks like Rick Porcello is going to try and establish his fastball at least the first time through the Blue Jay batting order. That comeback fastball against Smoke, Saunders, and now Goins sets him down.
The Blue Jays have now struck out 103 times. Only the Astros had more strikeouts than the Blue Jays coming into this game. And it's the most strikeouts for the Blue Jays in franchise history through 10 games. I didn't see this coming.
I didn't see it coming either, but they've run into some good pitching. I think guys were pressing at times. And a foul ball by Thole. The last couple of games, it looked like the hitters had finally been able to exhale and just relax at the plate and look like their old self, like last season.
Porcello continues to use that fastball with 2 strikes.
Yeah, against these left-handed batters. Thought he had another one right there.
Thole making just his 3rd start, of course. He is the catcher for R.A. Dicky. Another pitch inside. This one is off the plate. It's a full count. Kevin Pillar waits on deck. Thole has a home run, his only hit of the season. Hits this ball in the air. Jackie Bradley Jr. is there. 2 down. Porcello continues to handle the majority of this lineup. Last time out, the only real problem he had, Donaldson and Bautista, they combined for 4 of the 7 hits that Porcello allowed.
He talked about that at the end of the game when they were back at the Rogers Center. He said That was the key, being able to handle the rest of this lineup. He had 7 strikeouts in that game.
When you think about it, it's not a bad approach. You just concede 2 of the best hitters in the game. You're going to give up some hits. Just focus on the other guys. There's a big breaking ball for a strike, 0-2.
It looked like he was changing his patterns also in that game. Started using the curveball a little bit more late in that game. Tonight, using the fastball.
Well, Boston, their starting pitchers and their bullpen basically have kind of struggled to start the season. Their team ERA is 6.86.
And the starters ERA is the worst in the American League.
They have 2 starters with ERAs over 10 to begin the season. Buchholz and Kelly. Carl Willis, the pitching coach, talking to the skipper John Farrell. 1-2. Another fastball. Interesting, from night to night, game to game, you see pitchers attack the Blue Jays lineup in a different fashion. Eovaldi in last night's game throws 100, but tried to use the splitter and the slider.
Oops, that was a mistake.
Pedroia will take the soft liner. 3 up, 3 down for Rick Porcello.
Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ1690 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. Code must be entered by 11:59 p.m. tonight. Look for a new code tomorrow.
Lots of Blue Jays fans on hand here at Fenway Park, and when Pat and I walked to the ballpark today, there were Blue Jay fans everywhere. Around 2:30 in the afternoon, they're having a good time. Big weekend here in Boston, of course. Boston Marathon on Monday. And because of that marathon, Blue Jays and Red Sox will start their game at 11 a.m. Patriots Day here in Boston.
Took a few selfies today, didn't we, on our way over here to the ballpark? We didn't take it of ourselves. We got to be part of selfies.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a good thing they want a picture. They're great fans. They're loyal. They come out and have a good time, and they're on holidays down here this weekend.
Tomorrow might be Selfie Saturday. I have that feeling on the way to the ballpark tomorrow.
Ortiz lifts it high into the air in center. Pilar waiting there. Ortiz is out. One down here to start the bottom of the third inning. Ortiz doubled his first time up, his 8th extra base hit of the season. That ties him with Josh Donaldson for the league lead.
I think the record is 62 extra base hits by a player 40 years or older by Mr. Dave Winfield in 1992. And David Ortiz is trying to get that record.
He's swinging the bat pretty good.
Yeah.
Hanny Ramirez, boy, he had a break in the first inning. He fouled the ball off his foot in the at-bat, and then later on struck out, but reached first base on a pass ball. Then he came around to score the third run of the inning on the 2-run double by Travis Shaw.
And he was running just fine. Got a chance to watch him from first base. He was running with no apparent limp or any kind of problem as he scored easily on that double. I think he's a key guy for the Red Sox this year, hitting behind David Ortiz, driving in runs.
He got off to a great start last April, his first season with the Red Sox. He had 10 home runs in the month of April. But then I think a combination of his playing left field kind of wore on him, and then he battled injuries in the middle of the season. It's just slowed down. That high knuckleball, Dicky takes his time. 2 down.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
They've done a terrific job around this ballpark, inside and out, making it fan-friendly. Quite an atmosphere when we walk over to the ballpark, and the pubs and the restaurants are open. Fans are here early in the afternoon.
All along Yankee Way, they're here, and they love hanging around this ballpark.
Travis Shaw, we mentioned his 2-run double in the first inning. He was tagged out, trying to advance the third. They got him in a rundown to end the inning. Of course, the Red Sox this week put Pablo Sandoval on the disabled list with a muscle strain in his shoulder. Didn't you find it interesting? The Red Sox said they were surprised by that injury, that he had a tight shoulder.
You and I watched him try to work that muscle problem out when he was sitting on the bench when they were playing the Blue Jays back in Toronto.
Yeah, he had a baseball during the game, rubbing that shoulder area, trying to get it loose, but he has been put on the DL.
Heard today that they're going to look into that a little bit more, like a second opinion on the problems of Pablo Sandoval.
Second walk of the game issued by Dicky. It comes with 2 outs here in the third. And when you look at these two players, Pablo Sandoval and Rusney Castillo, they have signed lucrative contracts, and right now neither one of them on the active 25-man roster.
Sandoval on the DL with the problems we were just talking about. The Red Sox spent $95 million over 5 years for that, and Rusney Castillo was the 5th outfielder on this team. He needs to play every day. He needs to go down to AAA, play every day, prove his worth. Sandoval wants to play, period. Got to get healthy, but he wants to go out there and find a job. I have a feeling they're going to try and get rid of him, try and trade him. He might have played his last game for the Red Sox.
They have been linked to the San Diego Padres. James Shields, a pitcher in San Diego, has a similar type of contract, and they might swap those deals eventually. Brock Holt drives this one toward left center. Pilar stays with it and runs it down just in front of the scoreboard. Kevin Pilar covering the ground in center again. Well, the Blue Jays, they're down by 3. Big bats coming to the plate. Josh Donaldson will start things on. Jose Bautista has always hit the Red Sox. Edwin Encarnación has a homer tonight. Porcello is 27 years old. This is his second season with the Boston Red Sox. He came up with the Tigers and had a terrific season in 2014. Then he was dealt to Boston, and things changed dramatically.
Yeah, had his problems last year with the Red Sox. Had some injuries. Also went on the disabled list with a strain in his tricep and went down to AAA. And I think it's all about pitching and using all of your pitches. He's been known as a sinker ball type of pitcher, and I think guys were jumping all over that. Now he's using his curveball just a little bit more, and he's also pitching inside. Starting to throw the ball inside just a little bit more, which I think you have to do in this league.
Porcello busted Bautista inside in Jose's first at bat, and then he hit Tulowitzki in the second with an inside pitch. And he has made the Blue Jay hitters aware that he's going to try to work the inner half of the plate. Josh Donaldson grounded out to shortstop his first time up. High fly ball. Jackie Bradley Jr. going to watch this ball into that triangle. That ball was hit a ton, but it's an out to center field. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Oh, Jamie, you hate to see that. Anytime players are injured trying to make a play, they collide into one another.
Two starters.
Yeah, like two regulars coming out of the game at the same time.
Middle of your field. Ugh. Boy, that's too bad for Tampa.
One out. Jose Bautista grounded out on a check swing tapper to second to end the first inning. Breaking ball, 2-1 now.
This is the spot in the order where he had his trouble against the Blue Jays last week. Donaldson, Bautista, 4 hits, 3 extra base hits.
He's had trouble with Encarnación tonight. Edwin homered in the second. Bautista tried to check and foul tipped it.
You don't see that often from Bautista, right? That's twice tonight.
Had to check swing tapper to second. Inside corner, that front door breaking ball. Bautista called out on strikes, 4 strikeouts for Porcello.
I don't know if that was a cutter or a slider, but it froze Jose. And I don't know if he's upset with the call or if he's upset with himself, but that ball looked like it caught a lot of the plate. I think Porcello is confusing the Blue Jay hitters by pitching inside and using that fastball.
I think it's the return of Christian Vazquez. Young catcher has a great feel for calling the game. Changeup missed downstairs. Ball on a strike to Edwin. He had a long home run in the second. Christian Vazquez, just 25 years old, missed the entire season a year ago with Tommy John surgery. Another thing that works in a catcher's favor is to call that sign very quickly. Makes the pitcher really commit to it. Inside pitch, another pitch inside. One was a little short of the mark, about 4 feet in front of home plate.
You see Vazquez trying to decoy just in case, acting like it was going to be a high fastball, showing his glove upstairs, just in case the Blue Jays are trying to relay something to their hitter. came back with a curveball.
Encarnación had a good swing just on the outside part of the plate. Just a matter of time before this lineup starts to hit on all cylinders. Of course, we have talked about Donaldson and Bautista. They're off to good starts. Tulowitzki showing signs he's about ready to turn things around. Well, that's another inside breaking ball, and that's by design, and it's something that has come into vogue the last 2 or 3 years, using that front door breaking ball.
I think because hitters are so conscious of trying to cover the outside part of the plate, you used to never throw change-ups from a right-handed pitcher to a right-handed batter, because that's right where they were stepping.
Pulled a couple of hops to third. Shaw, a long throw in time. Another good inning for Rick Porcello. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Stanley Cup playoffs up to speed now. Lots going on, and we'll keep you up to date across the network. R.A. Dicky is behind 4-1 here as the Red Sox will bat in the bottom of the 4th. Christian Vazquez has had a nice return to this Red Sox lineup.
He's picked off a runner at first base. He's got a double. His pitcher, he's taking control of his starting pitcher tonight. He was swinging the bat well in AAA. A lot of extra base hits. Small sample size, I know that. Just about 8 games down in the minors.
Went 6 for 13 with a double, 7 walks and 2 RBIs. 7 walks significant. But he's a good player, and they were really disappointed to find out he would have to go under the knife and have that Tommy John surgery. This is his first game since September 27, 2014 against the Yankees. It's been a long layoff for Christian Vazquez. Lined right to Smoke.
Save during the homeowner sale only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Number 9 hitter is the center fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr. He takes one down the stairs. You'd mentioned that Jackie Bradley Jr. had a great month of August last year, and nobody could get him out. The Blue Jays saw it firsthand, but That hot streak came to an abrupt end in a very unusual fashion.
He lost his bat. Somebody took it, and he lost it for about a week, and he went crazy. You know how hitters are when you feel comfortable with a bat and everything you swing at, you hit hard. Well, they looked for a week, and they finally found it. It was up along some pipes somewhere hidden in Fenway Park. Someone took his bat, and Jackie Bradley Jr. was real happy when they found it.
Isn't that interesting? And obviously somebody had picked it up, maybe hopeful of getting a souvenir some other time, but quite the opposite was the great hitter Manny Ramirez when he was here with Boston. He'd just go in the bat rack and grab any bat. He didn't care. He'd just walk up and grab a bat, go up and hit. Didn't make any difference to Manny.
Whatever felt good, right? Huh? I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
There's a liner into right. Bradley with a big turn, and Bautista gets it back in. He checks back into first. So Jackie Bradley Jr. comes up with the 6th Red Sox hit of the night.
Well, no, that looked like a changeup or something that he tried to sink, and Jackie was all over that thing. Red Sox have had a good approach against the knuckleball pitcher this year. They faced Dicky a couple of times, and they've been very comfortable with him.
Yeah, we talked to several of the hitters after that game last Saturday, and they said we knew he had a good knuckleball. We weren't trying to do too much and just go the other way with it.
You don't see too many knuckleball pitchers. You know, there's only been fewer than 30 pitchers that have thrown the knuckleball with any kind of regularity. 30 in the history of baseball. RA is the only one to win a Cy Young. So it's a pitch you don't see a whole lot of, but the Red Sox look very comfortable in their first meeting with RA.
One of them's in the Hall of Fame, one of those knuckleball pitchers, Phil Niekro. And Dicky had a chance to visit with Niekro several times. In fact, Dicky will call Niekro from time to time if he needs a little tune-up, just a chance to talk shop with a Hall of Fame knuckleball pitcher.
There's a knuckleball pitcher in the other dugout, and we will see him, Stephen Wright. He talks about being able to watch R.A. Dickey close up. What a pleasure it is.
Donaldson goes to second, and it skips underneath the glove of Goins. Bradley is up, and he'll go to third. That was a tough play for Donaldson because by the time he got the baseball, he was so far in front of the baseline, he had to throw back over his shoulder.
He'll advise throw right here. It's going to be a short throw. You can see off balance. He throws it to Goins. They were only going to get one, so why not just get the one, the short out at first base? It bounces away from Goins and into right field. Bradley takes second and then third on the throwing error. But you're not going to turn two, so you may as well get the sure out somewhere. That is the first error of the season for Josh Donaldson.
7th for the Blue Jays overall. And now it looks like John Gibbons is going to have a look at it, and Ted Barrett, the home plate umpire, said, well, what do you want to review? And he's going to say he would think he went over the bag on that slide, and Ted Barrett said, well, wait a minute now, there was no opportunity for a double play. Goins was trying to stretch for it. It was a low throw. And they are going to talk it over at least.
Ted Barrett's the crew chief. Also, they're going to talk about, would it be an obstruction on a double play grounder? I thought the fielder had to have the ball for it to be that. Doesn't look like they're going to look at anything.
Gibbons still not going to give up the argument. He's asking for clarification, and the umpires have made up their mind they're not going to review that play, but there didn't seem to be anything that was reviewable in that play. That's Lance Barksdale, the umpire at second base. The ball just got under the glove of Goins. It was a short hop throw from Donaldson, and now Angel Hernandez comes down to make sure he knows what's going on. There's one out. Double play is still in order. Dustin Pedroia has grounded out and walked. It's this ball high in the air down the right side. The wind is pushing it toward the seats, and it's out of play. Pat Venditti loosening up as a right-handed pitcher, and we say that because he can pitch with either arm. Kind of confusing for the opposing manager.
Well, this is a good lineup for him to pitch against. A lot better than the Yankee lineup. I think they have 3, maybe 4 switch hitters in it. This one doesn't have a switch hitter in the lineup.
So he can warm up as a right-hander for Bogarts and stay in the game and pitch left-handed to Ortiz and then flip back to Ramirez. Bouncing ball. Dicky will go to second for 1. Tulowitzki to first. Double play. So R.A. Dicky starts the double play to end the inning, and we'll go to the 5th. The Blue Jays are down 4-1. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Flyaway contest is now on. Enter for your chance to cheer on the Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to bluejays.com/WestJet Flyaway to enter. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. We head to the 5th inning, 4-1 Boston. Blue Jays have just one hit. That was a solo home run off the bat of Edwin Encarnación in the 2nd. Rick Porcello, Pat, has done a great job of mixing up his pitches.
He has. He's used a lot of fastballs, his curveball. It's been aggressive. I think that's what you have to do. You got to go right after the batter, especially good ones like the Blue Jays have.
Tulowitzki pulls it on the ground. Shaw has it. Got a ground ball out for Porcello.
You know, when he first came up, it was sinker slider, and he had a great ground ball to fly ball percentage. So I started looking into the numbers today, and last year I said, well, maybe he was getting a lot of ground ball outs because of that sinker. No, it's his curveball. The one we just saw against Tulowitzki, how he rolled over that slow curveball to first base. 54% of the balls that are on the ground are coming from his curveball, not his sinker.
Looked like a pretty good pitch, and it's called the ball. Justin Smoke caught looking at strike 3 his first time up. There it's a strike 1-1. Boston changes according to the count. They change their infield defense and they flip-flop from side to side. And we talked to the manager about that. That's a foul ball. They keep the third baseman on the left side of the infield until they get a strike on the batter.
Then they know he's not going to bunt. They like to keep him over there on the third base side because the third baseman has more experience just in case they did bunt, coming in barehanded and flipping over to first base. There's another strikeout on the curveball, but when it gets to 2 strikes, they will then move into their shift and leave the shortstop back on his normal position on the left side of the infield. More range, better arm, better athlete.
Rick Porcello has retired 10 straight. He's got 5 strikeouts now. There's Brian Butterfield. He has given the defensive signals to the infield.
There's the third baseman, the lone infielder on the left side of the infield, guarding against the bunt.
Saunders tried to bunt on the first pitch of his last at bat. Torey Lovullo and Brian Butterfield looking at Louis Rivera at third base, going through his series of signs. Everybody trying to gain an advantage, trying to pick up a sign, see if they'll relay a play. Ground ball, Pedroia. 11 straight retired by Rick Porcello. He's mowing the Blue Jays down in the middle innings.
Your phone and tablet with the MLB.com At Bat app. Customize At Bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Cool night here at Fenway Park, and the Blue Jay fans are out in big numbers. Always a good trip for the fans to come down here at Fenway, so close to the action in this beautiful ballpark. And this time it's a 4-game series, 3-day games. Well, 2-day games and a morning game.
Yeah, let's clarify that just a little bit. It'll be played during the light time, not at night time.
Xander Bogaerts leading things off. Bogaerts has singled and struck out. Big bouncing ball to short. Tulowitzki throws on the run. Absolutely remarkable how accurate he is while throwing, moving away from first base.
I don't know how he does it. He's going away from first base and then can flip that ball and then accurately. We haven't seen one of those balls offline in about a calendar year. And look at, there's no tail on that ball either. That's the most important thing for a first baseman. You don't like the tail where that ball just dies and you have to stretch and now you're moving with the ball and it'll take you into the runner. That is true and accurate.
It's amazing how he gets so much on the throw. Here is David Ortiz. He had a double in the first inning, drove home the first run of the game, then scored on the 2-run double by Travis Shaw. Flew out to center in the third.
Careful now, 2-0.
Again, Ortiz hits the catcher, Josh Thole. The second time he's hit him tonight. Thole might want to back up a bit.
Watch the follow through. Swings right on the side of the noggin.
To me, that's the best feature of that hockey-style mask is that bat protecting the catcher from the backswing.
I don't know how the old-time catchers did it with just a baseball hat.
Yeah, they didn't even have helmets. I never wore any kind of helmet under my mask. I always wore just a backwards baseball cap and put the mask over that. But now, fortunately, most catchers are wearing some sort of protective headgear. Ortiz came to the Red Sox 2003, his first year in Boston. There's a fly ball that's hooked down the right side and into the seats.
That's close down there. It's not very far. You know, they talk about the green monster and all that kind of stuff in left field, but that Pesky's pole is shorter down the right field line. It's easier to hit a home run down the right field line than it is down the left field line.
Of course, Johnny Pesky was the infielder here with the Red Sox that had the knack for just hooking it down that right field line and it'd hook around the foul pole. Ari Dicky with another walk.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Dicky has now walked 3 in this game. In his previous 6 starts here at Fenway Park, he had walked a sum total of 4. So this is an unusual outing for Dicky here against Boston. Hanley Ramirez has struck out and ground out.
Would you play behind the runner at first base?
Yeah, I don't know that there's any reason to have Smoke holding on Ortiz.
Not really a threat to steal at first, and there's a huge hole on the right side.
There's that bat toss again. Ramirez lost the grip on the bat when he struck out in the first. The ball got away from Josh Thole, charged with a pass ball, and Ramirez reached first and came all the way around to score.
On cool nights, it's not cold, but it's cool. The pine tar, or the stickum, has no effect because it's cold. Your back gets cold, and it really negates what that was for. And clearly he's having his problems with the bat. Watch what Josh Donaldson does with it. Pretends like he's going to throw it into the stands.
0-2. 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning. Blue Jays turned a double play last inning to get out of it. Dicky started it Off the bat of Dustin Pedroia went 1-6-3 to end the 4th. He'll take another comebacker right here.
A nice one hopper. Nice and easy.
Another fly ball down the right side into the seats. Pat Venditti continues to loosen up for the Blue Jays, and there's a left-handed hitter on deck. Travis Shaw. He's been on base both times against Dicky tonight.
Double and a walk. That ball on the ground. Use that good defense that the Blue Jays have.
He strikes him out. That's just the second strikeout tonight for Dicky. Last time he faced the Red Sox, he punched out 9.
High knuckleball. Hanley comes up empty with that one.
So now Travis Shaw. He is 4 for 10 for his career against Dicky. Doubled and drove in 2 in the first. That ball gets away. Ortiz now on the move. He's hung up. Throw to first, and they didn't get him. Angel Hernandez, the first base umpire. Boy, he kept moving around and had a perfect position to make the call. Ortiz went halfway and then changed his mind.
And it looked like they had him too. Watch the snap throw. The ball just off the glove. Ortiz is going to go, and now he's going to stop. Totally snap throw. Smoke does everything he can to get that glove down there, but the foot looks like it's on the base.
You know, we're so quick to criticize umpires when they make a bad call, but Angel Hernandez kept moving to get himself into a perfect position to make that call. He watched the flight of the ball, he watched the base runner, and got a good angle.
Keep an eye on the umpire. He's now anticipating this ball. Here it comes. Keep moving. And he's got his head right down on that play. He's all over it.
2-1 to Travis Shaw. Takes upstairs now 3-1. 2 outs. Dicky trying to close out the Red Sox here in the 5th. Bounces, and it'll be ball 4. That's 4 walks now for Dicky. 2 outs, 2 aboard. Here comes John Gibbons, and he's got Venditti ready. We mentioned it. Venditti was down at pen, and he's waving for both of them, the righty and the lefty. The ambidextrous pitcher, Pat Venditti. Never seen that before in a ball game.
Never.
Give me the lefty and the righty. So R.A. Dickey control the problem tonight. He walks 4, and now he looks to the bullpen to bail him out here in the 5th. New pitcher of the game is Pat Venditti. 26 games a year ago for the Oakland A's.
I told you that this is a good lineup for him to throw against because he can throw with both hands. There are his numbers in the 26 games last year, 2-2 with a 440 earned run average. You know, I have seen some pretty amazing things from pitchers over the years. Some great pitchers, first of all. But this is the second time that I've been wowed by somebody that can do something interesting on the mound. To be able to throw at the major league level with two hands. The other one was Jim Abbott, who had one hand and could throw in the major leagues and threw a no-hitter.
That's a great call.
Give me the righty and the lefty. I've never seen that before.
Nope, that's a first. I'll take them both. Brock Holt behind 0-2. 2 outs. Breaking ball. One thing that Venditti does consistently, whether he's throwing right-handed or left-handed, he keeps the ball down. He really does a good job of working the bottom part of the strike zone.
And in this situation right here, left-handed pitcher versus a left-handed batter, I think his breaking ball is a little bit better from the left side. Sweeps just a little bit more. That time it sweeps right out of the strike zone. It's pretty cool in baseball to have a rule named after you, right? The Venditti rule.
Now the breaking ball popped toward the seats, and that'll be out of play.
The Venditti rule is you have to announce which arm you're going to throw with before the batter comes up.
And what he does is he just toes the rubber. As soon as he toes the rubber and has the glove on his right hand, he has to finish that at bat as a left-handed pitcher. Popped up. Tulowitzki waits at short. Venditti gets out of it. The Red Sox leave a pair. They'll come back 6. The Blue Jays down 4-1 in Boston.
Best season in 22 years, Mark Shapiro stepped into what was arguably the most scrutinized position in baseball. And now our cameras set out to properly introduce the new Blue Jays president, prepared to prove his critics wrong. First Impression, the Mark Shapiro story, airs Sunday, 12:30 Eastern on Sportsnet 1.
It'll be interesting to check that out and hear firsthand about the transition into a new role with a new team after 24 years with the Cleveland Indians.
And he'll do great. If you ever had a chance to listen to Mark Shapiro speak, he's an eloquent speaker. Got a lot of great ideas that I think he's going to bring over to the Blue Jay organization.
It'll be 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays here in the 6th. It'll be Goins, Tolle, and back to the top of the order, Kevin Pillar. Rick Porcello has set down 11 straight. Last man to reach base, Troy Tulowitzki in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch. Blue Jays have but 1 hit. The Edwin Encarnación solo home run. Pulled on the ground. Ramirez went after it, but he gave way to Pedroia, then beat it back to first. That's a tough play for a first baseman. How far do you go to your right?
What you have to do is you got to peek over your right shoulder and see where your second baseman is playing and know where he can get to the ball. Pedroia probably called him off on that play, saying I can get it, but to Hanley Ramirez credit, he reads it, gets back to the base, and finishes off that play. Talking to all the Red Sox people, they are very happy with his play over there at first base.
Well, I think Hanley Ramirez is very happy too. He's back on the infield. He was a shortstop for his entire career until last year when they tried to play him in left. Josh Tolle pulls it wide at first. I think another thing that helps Ramirez, the Red Sox are his first team. He and Dustin Pedroia were teammates in the minor leagues. They both were middle infielders, and Ramirez was traded to the Marlins in that big trade. Josh Beckett came here, Mike Lowell, Guillermo Mota, and they had to choose between which of those infielders they were going to give up. And they gave up Hanley Ramirez, who's back with the Red Sox. 2 down after the strikeout. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. That is the only run on the board for the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnación homered in the 2nd. That's been it. Kevin Pillar has grounded out and flied out, popped up to the second baseman. Another hit batter. Pillar gets hit by that inside pitch. Tulowitzki was the last Blue Jay to reach. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Now Pillar will snap that string of 13 straight retired by Rick Porcello.
You know, when you pitch inside, you're going to hit guys. It's going to happen, but you have to. You can see Vazquez slide to the inside, and batters, once again, exposing themselves on that pitch. You can see Pillar doesn't turn the back and take the ball off the back. He exposes his hands and gets drilled.
Now, that's a very good call, and most of the hitters now are thinking about being aggressive out over the plate. They take their hands right into harm's way. Josh Donaldson, 2 outs. Robinson Chirinos of the Texas Rangers got hit in a very similar fashion to that of Pillar and broke his arm. And that hit by a pitch. He actually finished the at-bat. They hit him up and in, and it was a hit by pitch, and he just stayed in there and finished the at-bat. He swung at the pitch and then drove a fly ball to right and then had to leave the game.
We got a shot of the replay. It looked like it got the meat part, if you will, the forearm of Kevin Pillar, and not the bone part. You can see how you can chip one of the bones if it's exposed like that, but it looked like it might have got the muscle part of his arm.
Josh Donaldson is 0 for 2 so far in this ball game. He's got a 10-game hit streak at stake. Over his last 21 games against the Red Sox, Donaldson has hit .352. This is the fun part of Fenway Park. Getting the tight ball game, middle innings, one swing of the bat, and it's a brand new game.
And you're back into it. All it takes is just one swing. He pops one here, it's a one-run ball game.
Inside pitch, and he continues to work the Blue Jays inside.
Oh, I love what he's doing. Inside and then outside and then inside and back and forth. And at times he'll go up and down. You see pitch number 3 there on pitch tracks, that blue dot, that was a purpose pitch right there. That fastball with 2 strikes up and away. Pretty impressed with Christian Vazquez game calling tonight.
Keeps that ball right in front of him and checks on Pilar. 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning. Christian Vazquez catching for the first time since 2014.
Didn't play a whole lot in spring training. Just wanted to get him in the playing shape and spend a week and a half down in AAA, and then today they activated him, sent Blake Swihart, another catching prospect, down to the minor leagues.
What a job by Vazquez, quickly moving to his right, squared up that ball in the dirt.
Watch how quick he is. He's only 5'9", but he's got quick feet, great hands. He reminds me a lot of Ivan Rodriguez in that respect.
Puerto Rican catcher Christian Vazquez grew up probably idolizing the image of Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate. Full count, 2 outs. Pilar will be off on the pitch. There he goes. Strike 3 called. Donaldson thought it was upstairs, thought it was away. Ted Barrett calls him out. 7 strikeouts for Porcello. He is through 6.
New Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
We are in Boston, first of 4 games against the Red Sox. The Blue Jays trail 4-1 as the Red Sox prepare to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Christian Vazquez will lead things off. Young catcher has gone 1 for 2 tonight. Swings and drives it over the head of Michael Saunders, who plays it perfectly. Vazquez has hit everything he's seen tonight. He doubled in the 2nd, lined out to the first baseman in the 4th, and has hit a hard single off the green monster.
Normally this would be a double, I think, in any other ballpark, because it's only About 350 to left field. Ball hit so hard, they hold him to a single. This guy's been the player of the game so far. He's done everything.
So now Venditti will turn around and throw left-handed to the number 9 hitter, Jackie Bradley Jr. Breaking ball inside.
Thought he might be bunting there. Just to get one of those add-on runs. It's Joe Biagini who's starting to throw now.
Two balls and no strikes. Now it's 2-2. Venditti just a little bit better command from the left side. His fastball 82 to 85 miles an hour, just a tick better from the right side. But he seems to have better command of the slider from the left side. Breaking ball off the end of the bat. Tough play for Venditti. He can't come up with it. Venditti got himself in position. He was turning in, trying to pick up the baseball at the same time. Bradley Jr. runs well, and it was going to be a tough play to make.
It had to be perfect. Once he swiped at that ball and missed it, there's no chance. This was going to work exactly as a bunt, right off the end of the bat. And when Venditti goes down to pick it up, he whiffs on it right there. And then it was too late. So the Red Sox get the first two aboard here in the 6th.
Venditti out. Joe Biagini, the big right-hander, will come in to try to work out of this jam.
The Players Tunnel at Rogers Center. To participate, visit any Rogers retail location before April 30th and sign the Blue Jays fan board. Visit RogersCelebrates.com for details.
David Price will start tomorrow against the Blue Jays, and he's having a good time. David Price always enjoys his time at the ballpark.
When does he not have fun? When he's pitching or not pitching, he's always having fun. Joe Biagini will come into the ball game. He is familiar with the Red Sox, and they are familiar with him. He made his major league debut 1 week ago against the Boston Red Sox.
Making sure he knows who has the coverage at second on a comeback. Top of the order, Mookie Betts. He has reached base twice. He singled in the second, drove in a run, and he reached on the fielder's choice in the fourth. Nobody out. Biagini jumps ahead with a good fastball.
Blue Jays were expecting a bunt right there. I don't think he's going to bunt. Not with the guys who are on base.
Not this part of the order. You're not going to give away an out.
Trying to break the game open. When you get those first two runners on, the 8th and 9th hitters in your lineup.
Ground ball. Tulowitzki is short. Second for one. Back to first. Double play. Double play. 2 outs. Man at third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Vance Worley has given up 5 runs, 4 earned runs in just 3 innings. A little different start after a pretty good outing his first time out. So now there are 2 outs. Biagini trying to work out of this tough spot. Dustin Pedroia. First pitch curveball and a good one.
That's his best pitch, I think, the overhand curveball. He showed that to David Ortiz to pick up his first big league strikeout in that game last week we were talking about.
Good spot. Tough combination. A curveball to get ahead and a fastball painted down and away.
I think pitchers who are new to the league have the upper hand against batters. Pedroia doesn't know a whole lot about Biagini. There's not a lot of tape on him. He was in Double-A last year.
A good pitch. Late movement on that fastball. He missed, but missed in a good spot. You got to keep the ball down to Pedroia. He's a good high ball hitter.
Well, is he ever? He might not be the biggest guy. I'll tell you what, he is packing some punch.
Beats him with a fastball, and Pedroia fights it off to stay alive. Biagini inherited a first and second nobody out situation, and now he's an out away from getting out of it.
Maybe time for the curveball. Go back to it.
Bounced it in the dirt. Josh Thole stays in the game after Dicky was lifted in the 5th. Pedroia is 1 for 2. He walked in the second, grounded into a double play in the 4th. Biagini knocks it down. Pedroia's hustling, and the throw is not in time. Pedroia picks up the RBI. Hit it right back to the mound. Biagini had a kick away from him over toward the third base foul line, and the Red Sox get another run.
I'm going to put that at bat right there from Dustin Pedroia in the category of tough RBIs. You're down 0-2 to a guy you don't know anything about, but you battle him. And he's going to pick up that tough RBI by sending it back through the middle, right off of Biagini, and really no chance for him to get him at first base. It looked like that right foot as he went to plant to throw it buckled just a little bit on him.
It's going to be a tough play for Biagini, but you're right, that ankle looked like he rolled over on it a bit.
What a tough at bat by Pedroia.
Former Rookie of the Year, former MVP, knows how to have a tough at bat. Well, that first pitch curveball is a very effective pitch. It gives you another foot on your fastball, puts that curveball in the hitter's mind. Bogart stepped out, and then Ted Baird looked like he pointed to Tolley, as if Tolley had asked for timeout.
Well, I think he saw that Pedroia was bouncing off over there at first base, just trying to get into the head of the young pitcher. Trying to mess him up. He was bouncing off like he was trying to go, and then he was bouncing back.
Ground ball, couple of hops to second. The inning is over. Dustin Pedroia drives in a run with 2 outs. The Red Sox have taken a 5-1 lead as we head to the 7th. By 4, and there's not a better place in their lineup to start than starting with Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnación. You look at what they did last year. They combined to hit 79 home runs, and they've always been a very tough combination. Great 1-2 punch, and the Blue Jays need them to get going here.
Tough outs. They put together very good at-bats. We've talked about that in the past. They're not free swingers. They put together at-bats. Bautista, all you have to look at him is his plate appearances, pitches per plate appearances. 4th in the American League. He's not up there just hacking away. He's got an idea. Blue Jays need some runs, and who better to start it than these two?
Inside pitch, he fights it off and fouls it out of play.
It's been a good pitch for him tonight, hasn't it? That inside fastball.
Porcello has worked the Blue Jays very effectively inside. He's hit 2 Jays hitters. He hit Tulowitzki in the 2nd, hit Pilar in the 6th. In between, he retired 13 straight.
Blue Jays' last hit back in the 2nd inning.
Junichi Tozawa starting to loosen up for Boston.
I said their last hit, their only hit, was back in the 1st inning. That's how tough Porcello's been tonight.
Bautista walks, a walk man at first, and Edwin Encarnación comes up. Now it's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by the all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
We said 1 hit. Well, here it is, right here. Up and away for Edwin as he gets home run number 1 of 2016. Porcello missed his spot. He wanted that ball down and away. He got it up, and in this ballpark, Edwin knocks it out of here, and he can get that chicken wing going for the first time this year.
There's a deep drive to left. Vazquez looking up. Another one for Edwin Encarnación. A 2-run shot. And just like that, it's a new game. Rick Porcello Last time the Blue Jays faced him, Bautista hit a pair of home runs off Porcello. Tonight, Edwin Encarnación, and we talked about this tough duo. They could turn a game around in a hurry.
They needed some offense, and Bautista and Encarnación delivers. Thought Porcello was very defensive against Bautista, ended up walking him, setting the stages for Encarnación to get the Blue Jays 2 quick runs, right back to within two runs.
Troy Tulowitzki. For Encarnación, that's his 22nd multi-home run game, and this is a no-doubter. The only doubt was whether it was high enough, but he put a charge in it.
Four-run lead, you walk the leadoff batter, and you just ask him for problems and some trouble, and Encarnación delivers. 270 home runs now in his career.
Encarnación, it is also his 199th home run as a Blue Jay. Just one shy of 200 home runs in a Blue Jay uni.
Dugout knows how big that home run was. Maybe it wakes up the bats.
Off the plate. Tazawa in the Red Sox bullpen should be ready. Nowitzki called out. 8 strikeouts for Porcello, and that's going to be it. John Farrell has popped out of the dugout. There's the call to the bullpen, and Rick Porcello will go 6 1/3 tonight against the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnación doing all the damage against Porcello, the only 2 hits he's allowed. Campbell, new pitcher into the ballgame for Boston, is Junichi Tazawa, already making his 6th appearance.
This is the Red Sox 9th game of the season, and he's going to be now pitching in 6 of them. 0-1 with a .225 earned run average. He ranks 6th among all AL relievers in appearances with 209 now since 2013. With the addition of Craig Kimbrell in that bullpen, they can now move Tazawa down into the 7th inning. He's got a fastball and a very good split finger fastball, and his job now is to get them back in that dugout.
Justin Smoak has struck out twice, once looking, once swinging. 1 out. 2 runs in on the 2nd home run of the game off the bat of Edwin Encarnación. First pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. Again, after that first pitch to a pull hitter, the third baseman and shortstop flip-flop positions on the infield. Now Bogarts is back at short. Shaw has taken his position at second, and Pedroia is in right field.
Red Sox don't think that Smoke is going to bunt now. A strike on him. But
See,
he could.
This is where I really think you should practice this. You start bunting up the third base line. You're down by 2 runs. You just square around and bunt it, get it past the pitcher. You're going to waltz down the first.
Yeah, you could walk to first and get an infield hit. That whole left side is open. You can even take a shot over there with a swing. All it takes is a little ground ball. I think it depends on where you are in the lineup, where you are in the game, what the score of the game is. Blue Jays need some base runners.
They get 1 base runner, it'll bring the tying run to the plate. Strikes out Smoke, third time he's gone down on strikes tonight.
Might have crossed him up. The Red Sox are using that fastball very effectively with 2 strikes tonight. Instead of going to this patented splitter, he throws fastball down and away. And Smoke strikes out for the 3rd time. There's all your offense tonight.
1 man, 2 hits, 3 RBIs on a pair of home runs. Edwin Encarnación. Michael Saunders 0 for 2. Everybody's 0 for but Edwin.
So it looked like Tazan was throwing harder than what we have seen in the past.
Yeah, that last pitch was 94 miles an hour. And he doesn't throw that hard generally, but he might be freed up a little bit pitching earlier in the ball game.
That's what I think. Either that, pitching into the 7th inning, or that one 95 registered, 95 on the gun. He probably looks at his numbers against the Blue Jays and said, I got to do a little bit better.
Got to do something different. Blue Jays, the only team where he really has problems. One and 2. Boy, I tell you what a different approach the pitching staff has taken tonight with Vazquez behind the plate than when we saw them at Rogers Center. They have really emphasized the inside fastball.
They have thrown a lot of fastballs, and I'm looking at my scorecard and I see all the strikeouts, but I see a lot of backwards Ks, meaning a lot of called 3rd strikes.
Popped up, middle of the infield, everybody converging. Hanley Ramirez coming down from first, he makes the catch. Tazawa comes out of the bullpen and retires the last 2 here in the 7th. Edwin Encarnación has had a big night. This swing, a 2-run home run, his 2nd of the night. All the offense coming from Double E.
shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch available now. Get yours today at jshop.ca. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. See a lot of Blue Jay fans here. They're all decked out in their Blue Jays memorabilia, trying to stay warm. It's a cool night here in Boston, but that hasn't dampened the spirits of this baseball crowd.
Cool, not cold. Cool. Yeah, it was a beautiful day today, wasn't it?
Gorgeous. Joe Biagini came in with a bases loaded 2-on situation. Looked like he was going to get out of it, but Dustin Pedroia had a comebacker to the mound for a base hit. He drove in a run in the 6th. That run was charged to Pat Venditti. David Ortiz is in Joe Biagini's book. Ortiz was the first big league strikeout for Joe.
He's number 1 in his list, isn't he? His first big league strikeout. David Ortiz played 18 games versus the Blue Jays last year and drove in 18 runs. I don't think he's a valuable guy for the Red Sox in the East.
Well, he's a tough hitter, and he's a guy that takes a lot of pride in his ability to drive in runs, and that's what his job is. Ortiz with an RBI tonight now has 1,651 RBIs. He is 1 behind Tony Perez for 29th spot all time.
Tony Perez is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you start passing Hall of Famers and you're writing a pretty good legacy for yourself.
There's no question that David Ortiz is going to be in the Hall of Fame. 500 home runs. I think he has 506 now. And all those RBIs.
The appeal to third denied, and Ortiz will go to first with a walk. Second time he's walked, he's 1 for 2 officially in 4 trips to the plate. Ortiz, you mentioned the 500 home run plateau, but also you factor in what he's done in the postseason, and I think that's the separator. 500 home runs, certainly a great milestone.
Trying to think here, I'm scratching my head. Is there a DH in the Hall of Fame?
Now, Edgar Martinez has been knocking on the door. Harold Baines, another guy that hasn't gotten the consideration he deserves, but there's not a designated hitter in the Hall of Fame.
And that's basically what Ortiz has been his whole career. Good chance he'll be the first.
Manny Ramirez had an impactful at bat against Dicky in the first inning. He struck out, but then reached base on the pass ball and would eventually come around to score on the 2-run double by Travis Shaw. That was a tough inning for Dicky. In fact, it was the first time the Blue Jays pitchers have allowed a first inning run all season. There were only 3 teams in baseball that could boast that: Toronto, Oakland, and Cleveland. Now there are only 2. There's that breaking ball, and Ramirez strikes out. Well, R.A. Dickey was the starter tonight. The Blue Jays have gotten exceptional pitching so far this season, but it was a rough first inning that led to the early exit for R.A. Dickey.
6 hits. He ended up he gave up 4 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. The 4 walks didn't help his cause tonight. He had 3 strikeouts. And jumping into that hole, 3-0, just like that after the first inning. The Blue Jays haven't been able to jump out.
Travis Shaw had the 2-run double and has also walked twice. He shows bunt. I just get a sense you're going to see more and more of these hitters facing that dramatic shift.
All it takes is a couple of times. You do it a couple of times, and it gets into the scouting reports, and it gets into those meetings that you have, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you got more holes to shoot for on the infield. Those guys will start straightening up for you.
Koji Uehara, a former closer for the Red Sox, has now taken over the 8th inning duties. There's another good curveball from Biagini.
I like how he used that as a finishing pitch against Hanley Ramirez, the previous batter. Got ahead with the fastball, didn't show him that breaking ball until he got the 2 strikes.
Good fastball. Biagini has a pretty good idea what he wants to do, and he recognizes his strength. It's the curveball, but he still throws 95 with good movement on his fastball.
He can use that fastball in the upper parts of the strike zone also. Use that fastball up there. That'll set up that breaking ball.
Ball in the dirt, 2-2 now. Strike 3, outside corner shot, didn't like the call. Another curveball. Shaw's down on strikes, 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Chicago White Sox are getting terrific pitching. Chris Sale improves to 3-0. Matt Latos is 2-0. And they are off to a great start. Chicago now 8-2 going into action tonight. They were tied with Kansas City.
They've always had the pitching over there. They just hadn't had the defense. Now they got some defense.
Yeah, both Laurie and Todd Frazier really tighten up their infield.
Helped. And their outfield defense is better now.
Biagini looks comfortable, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a big arm. San Francisco had him as a starter in their minor league system. Didn't really think about putting him in the bullpen. The Blue Jays picked him up, put him in the bullpen, and he looks right at home. And San Francisco didn't even think about putting him in the bullpen. Might have made a mistake with him. He's got to stay here all year long. He's a Rule 5 draftee from the Giants.
Curveball, foul up. Josh Tolley's going to go out and talk about this next pitch, trying to retire Brock Holt. 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays have made it interesting. Edwin Encarnación, a pair of home runs tonight. It's a 5-3 Boston lead. Jesse Chavez, the right-hander, starting to loosen up. Managers will try to give their relief pitchers a little extra time to get loose on a cool night like tonight.
Well, I'd love for Biagini to finish off this inning right here. 2 full innings out of your bullpen. 1 guy.
Ortiz got a running start there. They will take second base. Standing up.
A little veteran move right there from Ortiz. He saw that Josh Tolley went out there to talk, and they're concentrating on what that batter is, and they forget about the runner. How am I going to get the batter out? And Ortiz with the veteran move.
th career stolen base. Got himself into scoring position. It's a 2-run ball game. Full count now to Brock Holt. Christian Vazquez on deck has been swinging a hot bat all night long. He missed with that breaking ball.
I'll bring Pete Walker out to talk to his young right-hander. Give him a little bit of a blow. Give Jesse Chavez a few more minutes to warm up down there. He's thrown a lot of pitches. 44 pitches in his 2 innings.
Just a chance to give him a little breather and regroup a bit. Put a game plan together for Christian Vazquez. They haven't done much to fool him tonight.
No, he's hit the ball hard 3 times. A double, a single, and a line out. This guy could do no wrong tonight.
The Blue Jays have walked 6 tonight. They have really minimized the base on balls to this point, but tonight's been the exception.
Blue Jay relievers, they've had 5 walks all season long coming into this game. 3rd fewest in all of baseball. That hasn't been a problem.
They have walked 7 tonight. 2 outs, Christian Vazquez. Curveball buckled his knees, but it was inside. Vazquez doubled off the wall in the 2nd, lined out to first in the 4th, and hit a line drive off the wall in the 6th to left, but was held to a single.
He's lost the feel of the breaking ball. That's where you want to rub that baseball up just a little bit. This one, he wants it down and away and loses it up and in. Back off. Get a nice grip on that breaking ball.
Three and one now, 2 outs. Ortiz at 2nd. Holt at 1st. Indecision now. Tully's going to go out and talk to the young pitcher.
It's got to be a fastball, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't think he can throw another curveball right now.
He doesn't have that feel for it like he did against Ramirez earlier in this inning. 3 and 1. Need a strike.
Ball lifted in the air to her right. Bautista over. Gets there, and Biagini strands a pair. We have played 7 here in Boston. The Red Sox have a 5-3 lead.
seats that get you closer to the action. Starting from 10 games up to a full season, our account executives will find the packages that best suit your needs. Call 416-341-1234 or visit BlueJays.com to learn about all the great benefits of being a Blue Jays ticket package holder.
Blue Jay fans who would like to see a rally here in the 8th inning, and if Blue Jays come back, it's going to be against two tough pitchers. Koji Uehara into the ball game, taking over for Junichi Tozawa.
He is now the 8th inning setup reliever. Used to be the closer for the Boston Red Sox. Blue Jays saw him twice when these clubs faced each other last weekend. Uehara had a very clean inning, had a walk when he faced 4 batters in the 1 inning, and then had a 1-2-3 inning with a strikeout the second time they faced him. He comes into this game 11 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. Uehara does it. He's tricky, sneaky fast. His fastball barely hits 90, but he's got a great splitter that complements it.
Blue Jays trying to put something together. It'll be Goins in the 9th spot. Russell Martin has come out on deck. He's going to bat for Josh Tolley.
Tell you what, with Uehara, his control is so good. Just put the glove where you want it. That last pitch, Vazquez was off the plate, and he missed. He hit his glove, but it was off the plate.
Uehara is now 41 years old. He came over initially with the Baltimore Orioles. He was a long-time starter in Japan. One of the premier pitchers in Japan. He pitched for the Yomiuri Giants in Tokyo. Came to Baltimore in 2009. Went to Texas in 2011, midway through the season. Owens pops it up over near the seats. Shaw gets there right in front of the Blue Jays dugout. First out of the 8th.
Uehara went from Baltimore to Texas for Chris Davis, among other players.
Tommy Hunter
and Chris Davis. What a trade for the Orioles.
Uehara pitched in Texas, total of 59 games, and then signed with Boston as a free agent in 2012.
And it's worked out beautifully here. He has had some very good years for the Red Sox.
Russell Martin pinch hitting for Josh Tolley, goes after the first pitch. Martin off to a slow start, 2 for 29. Josh Tolley went 0 for 2 in the ball game.
Pulling off that ball. 2 cue shots against Uehara. You got to really stay back against him.
Blue Jays got to get Edwin Encarnación back to the plate. Upstairs. Edwin has been the entire offense tonight. Pair of home runs. He's driven in 3. Martin strikes out. Blue Jays continue to strike out at a record pace.
Porcello had 8 strikeouts tonight. Tozawa struck out one of the 2 batters he faced, and now Uehara picks up a strikeout. Well, that tailing fastball one more time on the inner half. That's the Blue Jays coming up empty. Ten strikeouts again for the Jays.
They have now struck out 110 times in 11 games. Kevin Pillar 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 6th. When Pillar got hit by that pitch from Rick Porcello, it snapped a streak of 13 straight retired by Porcello. He really got into the groove in the middle innings.
Ground balls and strikeouts. That's what he got, basically. A couple of balls in the air. And mostly strikeouts and groundouts.
That being said, 2 hits, and the Blue Jays are still within striking distance. 5-3 Boston. Look at the pitches. All on the outside edge. He bounced the breaking ball, bounced that splitter in the dirt, and everything else has been away.
On the corners, on the edges. There haven't been a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate tonight against the Blue Jays. Porcello dominated the inside part, used his fastball very effectively. Now you got Tazawa Uehara painting.
Lays off a tough pitch, about knee high. 2-2. Pillar gets on. You got a red hot Josh Donaldson behind him. Continues to stay away. Uehara keeping everything away from Pillar. Donaldson is 0 for 3. His 10-game hit streak on the line. Pillar's hanging tough. He got 1 pitch inside and he's able to spoil it.
Ball just 79 miles an hour, and then he throws a fastball. Upper 80s. And the next thing you know, it's by you. Got that ability to freeze you with that fastball. Try it right there.
Pillar's battling. He knows his job right now. Set the table for Donaldson. Keep the inning alive. Pillar can't believe it. That was off the plate. Ted Barrett calls him out. What an at-bat, and he had that outside corner zeroed in, and Ted Barrett calls him out. A couple of strikeouts for Uehara. Closes out the 8th. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung Broadcast Studio. Chavez will be the fourth pitcher to work for the Blue Jays tonight. Dicky started, Venditti worked a third of an inning. Joe Biagini had a couple of good innings, and now Jesse Chavez will work the eighth, trying to throw up a 0.
Fifth game already for Jesse. There are his numbers in the 4 games. No record with a 270 earned run average. Last worked against the Yankees a couple of days ago, where they stretched him out to an inning in a third.
Russell Martin back behind the plate after pinch hitting for Josh Tolley. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s had a couple of infield hits. Late on that fastball.
And that's what Jesse can do. He likes to backdoor that cut fastball to left-handers. He gets a lot of break on that ball. Here's another one. Russell just stands out there. Just waits for that ball to come to him.
There's a strikeout. Bradley strikes out on a breaking ball. One down here in the bottom of the 8th.
Got a pretty good curveball. When you get that steady diet of cutters away and then drops that curveball on you, you can change speeds with it. He's got one job: get the Blue Jays back up quickly.
Well, looking ahead to the top of the 9th, you got the big boys coming up. Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnación. Got to keep it a 2-run game right here. Mookie Betts drives this ball into center field. Pilar, an easy play, moves to his right, makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down for Chavez.
That's what you need. Come out of that bullpen, firing strikes. Jesse's got a good arm. To me, he's one of those guys who's got a sneaky fastball. There's a fastball in the middle of the plate. He thinks he gave up a base hit. He made a mistake. He wanted that ball away and ended up in the middle of the plate, but with his good movement on that pitch, Betts didn't square it up.
Dustin Pedroia had a pivotal at bat into 6th with a man at 3rd and 2 outs. He hit a shot off of the pitcher, Joe Biagini, and picked up an RBI on an infield hit. Greg Kimbrel, first year with the Red Sox, big closer. Standing by, ready in the Red Sox pen. Pedroia called out. Good inning for Chavez. He has set it up for the top of the order. They'll face Craig Kimbrel. It'll be Donaldson who needs a hit to extend his hit streak. Jose Bautista has reached base. Edwin Encarnación with the red on bat. 2 homers tonight. for 2 in save opportunities this season. He has 226 saves since 2011, most in baseball.
He got 39 of them last year in 61 appearances with a 258 earned run average. That was with the Padres. Started the year in the Atlanta organization, was traded with 6 players from Atlanta to San Diego, and then came over here in a big trade with the Padres. They needed some power at the back end of that bullpen. They got it, one of the best in baseball, and Craig Kimbrell. It was a 5-player trade with San Diego that got him over there. There's your offense so far tonight for the Blue Jays.
Kimbrell's going to have to go through the meat of the order to pick up this save tonight. It's 5-3 Boston. He's got to deal with Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnación. Kimbrell picked up the save on Wednesday against the Orioles. He struck out the side on 14 pitches. He's ahead of Donaldson. Fouled it back.
He's got one of those unique setups, doesn't he? Peers in. He's not a real big guy. Peers in with his arm up. He's got a great fastball, and he can really spin a breaking ball.
Throws a hard curveball, and it touched 90 his last time out.
You can't just sit on that one pitch. You can't look for the heater. You have to respect that heater. Like it was at the top of the strike zone, but it was called a ball. That got up there quickly.
This is popped up. Hanley Ramirez in foul ground gets over there on the warning track. 1 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up after this ball game. The Blue Jays aren't done yet. Jose Bautista takes one down and away.
These are always fun, aren't they? A power hitter like Bautista, he can turn on anybody's fastball, in my mind, against the power closer.
Kimbrell gave up a 2-run home run Monday night to Chris Davis, and it was a shot.
I was talking to some of the Red Sox players about it today, and they were saying at first they thought it was going to hit that scoreboard in center field. And the description that was put in my mind from him was it disappeared very quickly. The ball got really small very fast. Talking about power versus power.
Two balls and a strike to Bautista. Jose walked in the 7th and scored on Encarnacion's 2nd home run. Ball is hit to right. Mookie Betts is there. 2 down. Edwin Encarnación has the entire offense tonight. 2 hits and 3 RBIs.
2 swings of the bat. This off Rick Porcello, a home run to left field. This was leading off the 2nd inning, and this is number 2 in the 7th inning. So, Buck, we have seen the last Blue Jay batter to hit a multi-home run game in this ballpark. Do you know the first Blue Jay batter to have a multi-home run game in this ballpark?
That's a center.
I'm sitting next to him.
Encarnación shatters his bat. This is trouble. That's going to drop a base hit for Edwin. His 3rd hit of the night. He has all 3 Blue Jay hits tonight. He fights it off, and a 3-hit night for Edwin.
Shows you how powerful he is. Off the end of the bat. Times that fastball up. Got jammed a little bit. Look what's left in his hand.
A splinter. So now Troy Tulowitzki represents the tying run.
So I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but it's you, my friend. You hit the first multi-home run game in this ballpark as a Blue Jay.
Edwin has the record for the most multi-home run games. He's had 3 multi-home run games here. This is Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki has faced Kimbrel. He is 2 for 4 against the hard-throwing right-hander.
Tulo's home run yesterday, I think, was an at-bat where he was so mad the previous at-bat when he popped it up. It was almost like he went up there and said, I am just going to swing as hard as I can and see what happens, and knock the ball out of the ballpark.
3-0. Justin Smoak is on deck. He struck out 3 times tonight. He'd like one more kick at the can.
Yeah. I think right now, 3-0, you got to give Tulowitzki the green light, don't you? You can sit on a fastball and you can try and tie this game up.
Right on the outside corner.
Not with that pitch.
Two aboard. He stayed away. Didn't want anything to do with the inner half of the plate with Tulowitzki. So now 2 aboard for Justin Smoak.
Perfect time for your first home run this season, isn't it, right here? Smoak is a low ball hitter in my mind. He's got plenty of power. You can hit it out any part of this ballpark, but he's a low ball hitter, so set your sights down low.
Oh for 3. He has struck out 3 times. Goes after the first pitch. Encarnación. A broken bat single. He's at second. Tulowitzki walked. He's at first. Double barrel action just in case the Blue Jays tie it up. Going to see games like this all season long between these 2 ball clubs. The Blue Jays won 5 of the 9 games they played here at Fenway last year.
I think you're going to see these types of ball games all season long versus the teams in the American League East. They're so evenly balanced. They know each other. No secrets. They're going to be close games. It's going to come down to 1 pitch.
Hard-breaking ball.
That's not fair.
One and 2. Struck him out. Craig Kimbrel picks up the save. He made it interesting. Joe Board with 2 outs, but he strikes out Justin Smoke to end the game, and Boston wins it 5-3.
Red Sox were off yesterday, so the bullpen could rest, and they pitched their 3 big guys out of the pen. Tazawa, Uehara, and Kimbrel, and they only gave up that 1 base hit, that broken bat hit by Encarnación. That guy right there, Christian Vazquez, I thought was the star of the game for the Red Sox.
Had an impact at the plate and behind the plate. Did a terrific job. Kimbrel picks up his 3rd save. Porcello